Live. Welcome to Late Night Levity Game Night.
Let's flash the banner up for a second so people can see. Just flash it a bunch of times because that's what professionals do. Turn it up. Yeah. See, there you go.
No, the strobe lights,
Late Night
strobe lights,
Late Night Levity.
All right. So
Game night.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen with system audio.
All right, and I will present said screen.
All right, and then we're gonna make sure that the audio.
Oh yeah. Because I think it's copyrighted last time, isn't it?
No.
Okay.
I don't even know where I got it from, but the audio is here. Okay, so I've got this. Very professional, very professional. All right, and then here we go. Okay.
Trivia maker.
Hold on. Maybe I'm doing.
I'm holding up your life.
Okay. Well, I did the wrong one.
Is this?
Hopefully, you guys didn't see that. But if you did, it's okay.
I saw everything.
Yeah, I saw everything too.
Okay. That's okay.
I want to buy an E.
I want to solve the puzzle. I want to solve the puzzle now, and I want to bet everything I have, which is nothing.
I'm going to go to round 2.
That's
All right. So this is Late Night Levity Game Night, everyone. And I wish I had a third screen here so I could do everything, but I only have the 2 screens. So I actually don't get to see much of the actual Hold on, I got to find you guys again. Here we go. All right.
I'm right here, sir.
I know you are. Oh, but I got to do this, and then I got to do this, so that it's like I have 3 screens. Okay, now I can see.
Good.
So, how many viewers do we have?
We've got 14 right now. 14 lovely viewers
14?
out there. We appreciate you. We appreciate
right.
you. We appreciate you.
So,
is that 10 viewers and us, or actually 14 viewers?
Who knows at this point? They may be lying to us.
I'm not viewing it. So
we lost a viewer. They hated us. They left. We're down to 13 now.
Okay. We probably should just started the show instead of asking how many viewers we have to start off with. That's okay.
They were
so
like,
this is okay. So this is yes, it's a phrase. This is just for anyone who's watching the best all-male late night comedy Thursday show on YouTube. Yeah, put that up there. That is 100%
the
accurate.
Best.
Okay. So this is Wheel of Fortune, and we're gonna start.
It covers up James there.
Oh yeah. By the way, Catholic Song Guy. I know that we had discussed this before, but if you wanted to change your name to James the Lesser and having the top bottom thing, if you want to change your name around, that's fine. I just have it in here as the names that I saw. So it's Wheel of Fortune. This one is a phrase, and this particular one I made for actually Roger, who's not on here, but it's okay. It'll work out just fine. We're gonna go with choosing one of you guys at random. Papist. We're gonna say you go first.
All right, I will take him. Oh, can I spin? How do I spin?
Hold on. Whose turn is it? Papist,
digital.
Would you like to spin or solve?
I'll spin.
Okay. $400. R.
Are you?
There are 2 R's. Would you like to spin or buy a vowel or solve?
I will buy an E.
There are 4 E's.
Oh no! I just lost a bunch of money.
Well, you lost a little bit. I think it only costs the one amount, the $250 for just the one.
Okay, cool. All right, so I'll spin again now.
Okay.
Lose a turn. Lose a turn.
400 T.
T. There are 2 T's.
Just 2 T's. Lovely.
Mm-hmm.
I will buy
T's.
an I.
Yes, there's one eye.
What? Okay. All right, spin.
Spin we shall. 500.
H.
H. Okay.
Just wow, just 2. That's
Oh my
I keep
goodness.
getting that. All right. Let's buy an O. It's gonna buy everything, I
Oh my! Might as well give this man the whole
guess.
answer.
Wow. All right. Let's spin.
Okay.
S.
S.
Ah.
Next up is Catholic Song Guy. Spin.
Okay, let's spin it.
Spin or solve your choice.
You spin me right round, right round.
Let's go with a V.
A V.
Bold. It's a bold
One
move,
V.
Cotton. Oh, 1V.
Let's spin her.
All right.
F.
F.
Just like my report cards through high school.
Wow. Let's spin again. G.
G. Good. Good choice.
Oh my gosh, that's the only place the G was. God, crying out loud. Okay.
I realize now I did this phrase wrong, but it's okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
Wow.
We're professionals here. We're all
No,
professionals. It's okay.
I'll explain in the end, but
I hope so. Let's spin that wheel. And I'm gonna ask for a D.
D. Good. 2 Ds.
We're gonna
have
have to
no
spin
idea.
again.
$200.
We're going to go for a J.
J. Good choice.
J.
1 J.
Oh.
Amazing. There's so many one letter.
I'll never get a turn at this rate.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
Unless he tries to solve and he gets it wrong.
Oh, I'm trying to think what you went with the third. When you said you got it wrong, I think you got the third word wrong, right?
5th.
I would like to solve.
Okay.
The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog.
That is correct. And so what I got wrong was it should be jumps over the lazy dog. The reason why I did this for Roger is because you literally can't lose. But if I did jumps instead of jumps. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. It has every letter of the alphabet in it.
Right.
and,
I'm doomed.
and S
doomed.
was missing.
S was missing. Yes, that's when I realized S was missing. Like, oh man, I should have double checked that. All right.
Just chipped out of an S.
I know, right? So this is Biblical Blind Man, and we're going to start off with Catholic Song Guy since you won the last round.
Biblical blind guy.
Yep.
He's he's gonna guess it right off the bat.
I'm gonna guess it.
Okay.
Tobit.
It is Tobit. But you get
Dang it, I'm
$0 for that guess.
You could have went with the
I should have spun first. Sorry.
Yeah, you should have spun.
Hey,
All
still
right.
up. He's still up like 2,600.
Okay, this is we might have to end early if we run out of questions because that was all supposed to take a little longer.
It's okay.
Catholic Song Guy, would you like to? If this is a Catholic prayer, would you like to spin, or
Well,
would you like to solve?
I think I'd better spin so I get a little sense of
So you can
drama
get some
here.
money.
M.
Steve-O gets to play.
I get to play. All right, let's watch me spin and get lose a turn.
500.
Oh, 500. Oh man, let's see. Let's go with an N.
N.
N, yes, N.
All right. Which one?
I got an N. All
Solve it.
right.
Do it now.
Oh,
Spin,
oh no.
buy,
no.
or solve. Hey, look, there's an
I'm
N
gonna
there.
spin.
You should know this.
I'm gonna spin. I don't know anything. I'm kind of a little slow. 300. Okay, let's go with an H.
H.
Oh no.
Man, I suck.
Pappas.
I'm gonna have to spin.
I mean, there's an N there. You guys should probably get this.
R.
R. Oh, he knows what it is.
Are we ready for him to
think I
solve this?
do. You think I do. I do not. I'm gonna spin again.
I didn't even know the last one, and that was probably a gimme.
It was.
See? Shows how much I know.
S.
S. One S.
Oh my gosh.
Just
Spin.
one. No, sure it was not two this time?
Solve it, dude.
Are you saying solve it?
Well, no, you do what you want.
100. Awesome. G.
He's about to get this.
All right.
Catholic prayer.
I
You know it now?
would
You
like
know it
to
now, don't
solve
you?
the puzzle.
Solve it. Okay.
Salve Regina.
It is Salve Regina.
Nice.
Or Salve Regina, as they say.
Salve.
Hey, yeah, I almost
Fun.
wanted to wow, it's like really loud. Look,
I know. I'm very sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm
Okay.
using my onboard speakers. I'm gonna...
Yeah. Okay. So hold on a second here. Let me.
Intermission.
Not really
We're gonna have a
intermission, but yeah, a little bit.
A word
A
from
little
our
bit.
sponsor. Let's all
I'm-
go to the lobby.
I'm trying to see how many questions we have. How many questions we have left?
I asked the questions here.
Okay. Yeah, we only have 2 categories left. So
Okay.
we may have to do an intermission briefly for me to add more categories because you guys are doing much better than normal. So that's
Awesome.
No, I'm not. I won the last 2, and I'm not even doing anything. I got 0.
all right. Back to here. All right. So Pappas, since you won that last round, you have the choice of spinning or solving.
it's a phrase. Spinning. Come on. All right, R.
Oh no!
Oh.
Song guy.
Okay, let's spin it.
$100.
Let's go with a T.
T. Okay.
A T for 2 and 2 for T. Only
Would you
one.
like to solve?
No, let's spin again. R.
R
Very
was
popular
already
letter.
guessed.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I lose my turn then.
No, you can't. You just guess another letter. R was already guessed. I'm pretty sure
Oh,
that's
I'm
how it
sorry.
works.
I thought in the game you got blown off. You didn't. Okay. F.
F.
There's no,
There you go.
there's no rules in this game.
There are rules, but I mean, R's already guessed, so and I'd have to choose. I have to choose one of the letters that you select on my little screen here,
Oh.
and so I can't just say, I can't just choose a letter that doesn't work.
I thought that on the actual game that they.
It's
Oh,
quite
wow.
possible. I don't have the ability to do it.
I see. You can't have us lose a turn. Okay, never mind.
Gotcha.
500.
You, Steve-O.
Steve.
Oh, it's on me. Oh, see, I wasn't even aware. Let's go with a D.
D.
I have a feeling it's going to be right there. Oh, look at that. I was right. All right, let's spin again. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to go with a W. Bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it plays off.
No, sorry. No.
Dang.
I hate being bold.
I hate being wrong. Let's spin. Let's get high numbers. High numbers.
Oh,
Thank you.
Oh, you.
Wow.
Come on.
It's okay.
It is okay.
Means I have a chance.
Okay, so is that back
Okay.
to me then?
Yeah. Now back to Catholic Song Guy.
Let's spin it.
Spin it to win it.
Win it and win it.
Is the used letter board at the top accurate or no?
Yes, that is accurate.
Okay.
So you can't. These are the ones you can't select because they're grayed. So those
The white
are
ones
either-
we can select.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I've been using because I couldn't remember anything.
Okay, let's go with S.
Okay. I thought you were going to say R again.
Our
Saving that for Talk Like a Pirate Day.
Would you like to spin, buy a vowel, or solve?
Oh, I think we're gonna spin first.
Okay.
Brains.
Got a lot of comments today.
Not a lot.
Let's go with C.
C.
See, I told you you had it right.
Oh,
Oh, no.
Hmm.
That's okay. It's okay. That gives me a chance.
That's
gives you a
right.
chance.
Let's spin it. Let's spin it to win it. 400. N.
N. It's a big N-O for N.
Yikes.
Ah,
Wow.
man.
I know.
Wow.
I'm going to spin it.
Okay,
Disappointed in
Pappas.
myself.
I'm going to spin it. All right,
Wow.
100. What do you got?
K.
I'm sorry?
K.
K? No.
Oh my gosh. This is so
Yikes.
Song guy.
Okay. Well, let's spin it.
I didn't think this one would catch you all like this. I thought Tobit would take longer. Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh my god.
Oh.
Steve-O had chance
Okay.
for redemption.
I would like. Oh,
Oh, sorry, I spun it for you. Do you want to solve
you're
it?
fine. I was going to buy something, but it's okay. Let's go with. Let's go with an H. H
H.
feels good.
Yeah,
H feels
good
good.
choice.
Oh!
Good choice. What a tease.
Ouch. I was ready to hear that. Ching.
No dings.
700. Let's go with
700.
an M.
M. Oh, man. M?
Are we kidding?
Crazy. I don't even know what 2 letter. Okay, never mind.
Yeah,
I
with
do.
D and S. Oh, you know now? Oh, he knows. He knows.
It's 10 letters, and you guys can't guess any of them.
100.
Okay, let's see. This is one of these strange all-consonant languages from Eastern Europe somewhere.
You guys haven't bought a single vowel yet.
I don't have the money
know,
to,
I
or else
know.
I would have done that.
So let's buy a vowel.
Well, you have
I had to buy it before I spin. Never mind. Let's go with G.
G.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'm gonna buy a vowel, so don't spin.
You're gonna buy a vowel. Okay. Buy
Oh,
a vowel.
oh, please.
Okay.
Yes, please.
There's
Gotta
one
be
O.
there. One. Okay, I'll take it. Huh? What?
What is
this?
What are these words?
What phrase is this?
Is this Latin?
Yeah,
It
I'm like,
may or may not be Latin.
Oh my gosh.
You. Okay.
Okay.
I would like to spin. Let's spin.
Okay.
I got this one. I think I got it now.
All right.
400. I thought that was 600. They should have.
I thought that was 600 too.
B.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'll
B?
take it.
B or V?
B. Sorry. B.
B.
B as in boy.
Yes, sir.
Pappas.
You know what? I'm done. I've never heard so many beeps in my life.
All right.
You have no choice but to spin.
Yeah.
700.
700 again. V.
V. There's one V.
Ah.
What? That's not where I thought it was going to be.
Oh, let's spin.
Oh, hold on a second. I'm gonna take a picture of this. I'm gonna put this up on Twitter and be like, "Can anyone guess this phrase?"
They're going to guess it for any of us.
We'll finish the alphabet and not get it.
So, I'm gonna see if I can put this up here.
I've never had so much trouble guessing something in my life.
I know, right? I'm watching you guys, and I'm like, I'm hurting for you. I'm hurting for you right now.
My brain is literally fried.
I don't know what the middle one is.
I can only think of one thing that doesn't work. It's really weird.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? It may be. Aaron may be right.
All right. So, would you like to spin or buy a vowel?
I want to spin.
Spin.
I feel robbed out of this one.
Ah!
Oh,
You lose a turn. All right. Song guy.
Oh, spin it. Spin it.
Spin it. $600.
Yeah, it's great. I don't know why I'm even doing this, but I'm going to say why.
I don't know why either. All right.
There goes my theory that it was yo.
I'm gonna buy a vowel.
Okay.
Can I buy an E?
Yes. 1E.
I can't buy any more vowels.
No,
Yeah,
you used all your money to buy that E.
Just spin it. He needs to spin it, dude.
Let's spin it.
Okay, spin it to win it. 700.
There's a good one.
L.
L, that's a fantastic letter to choose. There are 2 of them.
Oh, 2 L's. I don't know this language, so even if I guess if I guess it and I don't pronounce it right, does that count as me still losing?
Depends on how badly you pronounce it.
Okay, I'll guess.
If you were like, does
Let's go
low victorious, I would be like,
Daus Lo Valt.
Would you like to spell that for me?
Yes.
Okay. Douse.
Yeah.
Are you saying
that's not correct.
Like Aaron Rodgers, like what he had posted, like that's what you're trying to say, except instead of AO, you're saying low.
Yes.
Okay. That is correct. It's Deus Low Volt.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not going to be able
Douse
to solve that.
and Deo are very different.
Exactly. This kind of hurt. I don't blame you. This make my head really hurt. I've never had such like a brought on her a headache before. I'm sorry.
It was.
Like it's going through the screen. I wouldn't give that to you. That's why I said that.
So this is.
Hey, just for the sake of the audience, what does Deus Low Volt mean?
God wills it. It's what the Crusaders would shout. Deus Low Volt. Deus Volt is God wills. Deus Low Volt.
No, I should not have been given that. That was a butchering of what that was.
That was before they invented Deus Lo-Fi. There was a kind of more do-it-yourself crusade.
I feel bad putting up the comments. I'm just blocking out.
What is this one? I can't see what it says up the.
It's a question. It's a question.
Oh, because of the question mark.
Yes. Also because it says question at the bottom.
Where does it?
I guess an exclamation mark.
Oh,
I need to make that larger.
All right. Okay. So Steve-O.
Oh, now it's big. Sorry. I'm amazing myself with technology.
Steve-O, it's your turn. Would you like to spin or solve?
Oh, I'm spinning. No way. It's gonna be in a different language again. I'm totally screwed.
Well, at least the question mark is right side up, so we know it's kind of.
That's true. That's true. Okay, so I got 300. Let's go with J as in J.
Ooh.
All right.
Papist?
I mean, I got to spin. I'm not going to guess that.
No, I can see the answer, and I know what it is. I would guess it.
Okay.
Gotcha.
S. Well, I need to also catch up, so
S.
I can't.
You can't catch up. It's mustard.
There you go.
You're all night.
Wow. All right, I'm going to spin again.
Are you sure?
Are you positive there, young man?
200. That shouldn't be black 200. It should be black like 70.
T.
Okay, hold on. There are 2 T's.
Lovely. I'd like to buy a vowel.
Okay.
I.
There are 2 I's.
I do have 2 eyes. Yes, thank you. Watching you.
Steve-O with his impressive.
Okay. All right. Spin again.
This is where Pappas thinks he knows the answer, but he needs the money. Not going to get it that way.
H.
I'm sorry. H?
Yeah. Holy crap! It's that.
Ooh, I heard 2 bungs.
Is what? What's in the box?
Spin.
What's in the box?
Spin. I'm gonna spin.
Okay.
Time to win.
300.
P.
P.
You know, I got to go actually right now.
2 P's.
Oh, here we go.
I would like to spin again now, definitely.
Okay.
And just hope I don't land on
300.
C.
C?
C, yes, C.
There are 2 C's.
And then spin one more.
Okay.
Risky.
It is risky.
200.
200. L.
L. Yes.
I would like to solve the puzzle.
Okay.
No, don't do it.
Is the Pope Catholic?
That's kind of a big question to ask here. I mean, there's a number of different. No, that is correct.
I mean,
I thought it was pears that were Catholic. Wait a minute.
I mean, I was gonna say as a joke, Pepe.
Oh boy!
Oh, leaving me in your.
I did it! I totally did it.
Go to the final scores.
Wow. Wow.
See, I should have spun on Tobit. Darn it.
You should have.
My reign has ended. My 2-win reign has ended. I feel very sad right now. I'm gonna go cry.
I like the music.
Away.
So now so during this intermission, can you work on it and we talk about stuff?
Yeah, well, let's actually. So, I told my wife that this would be a half hour long. So, I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Okay.
So, and that actually brings us to about the half hour mark. So, so we can take a moment. We've got about 8 more minutes before I actually have to go. But yeah, that's why I want to do this thing.
Okay.
So that we could have some fun and it'd be short enough, but also I think a lot of people. I'm turning into a pumpkin. Yes, one of the many things that happens to me.
Cinderella.
Oh boy, that was good.
I was fun, but I didn't like the losing part. That I gotta tell you, that was really bad.
This is why I run it, because I also don't like losing, and whenever I play, there's a chance I could lose. So, all right. So you wanted to talk about it for a moment, Papist?
Talk about what?
You said you wanted to talk a bit.
Oh yeah, just talk about stuff.
Okay, yeah, talk about stuff. What stuff? What's the stuffy stuff?
I don't know, Steve-O. What stuff is there?
I don't know. I've been talking about that new Happy Gilmore 2 that's coming out apparently soon. Other than that, that's all I've been talking about.
Let's take a moment actually to go with to do something that I wanted to do that as a kind of for like the last 5 minutes here. I want Steve-O to give me a conspiracy theory that's not
oh my goodness
going to cause like a whole bunch of people to be super angry, but just
I can't, buddy. Every single one gets me so much hate. Doesn't even matter. I could say, the food's not poisoned. What are you talking about? The food's delicious. I eat it every day. Dirt's not. I don't know. That's a really hard question.
How about Mighty Mouse, hero or household pet?
Well, I mean, okay. I guess my next one actually I guess it's not a conspiracy because the CIA has declassified that they do use MK Ultra. So just on a mass scale, because they say that they don't use it anymore because they say, oh, we had that and it's been declassified, so we stopped the whole organization. We're not doing that anymore. That is just a flat out lie, not a conspiracy theory. But I could be a conspiracy theory. But that's something that I'll be touching on my next episode. But yeah, I guess MK Ultra and that they're using it in Hollywood, and also that Dave Chappelle might be a clone, and that's it.
Okay, let's start there. Dave might
Chappelle
be a clone because here's the thing: like Dave Chappelle might be a clone is not something that's going to be immediately offensive to people.
Exactly.
But at the same time, it's something that I could tell that Papist has no belief in at all, and.
But the telltale signs are there. He's got a double P and a double L, 2 E's in his name.
So Steve,
the hints are all there.
So Steve-O, I have to ask, why do you think Dave Chappelle is a clone?
Okay, so there is one of his co-actors that he worked with on what was it? That stoner movie. What is it called? I don't even know what it's called. Half Baked. He went on an interview with Roseanne Barr and said when he came back from Africa, he had a conversation with him, and he said that he just didn't feel like he was the same person, which means he could have been somebody else. I'm just saying, that's just from one of his actual coworkers and friends. But that's my only really evidence.
I'm gonna. And Papist.
Yeah, he's been a clone for a long time.
Oh my god! But my thoughts are: if you're working on a movie called Half Baked, okay. Is that the most reliable person to say something like that?
I was gonna go down there too. I was like, well, yeah, it is coming from a guy that's
okay. Hold on. There's a Miss, which is Mrs. Modern Papist. Is Massachusetts Zoomer Mrs. Modern Papist?
No, it's the one. No, that's not it. That's a dude.
Starskim?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so that was a ridiculous conspiracy theory. Pappas,
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you respond to it because I want you to.
I mean, if you've ever watched the Chappelle Show, I mean, like it seemed like every episode he was a different guy. Because
I mean,
he
yeah, that
played
is
a
fair.
different guy. I don't
That
know.
is
It's
fair.
like, I mean, what is it? I don't know if he converted or not. See, like he was on a hiatus for a while, and then he converted to Islam, right?
Chappelle did?
I believe so. I didn't know that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't know that. So
Yeah,
maybe I
I think
did.
he did
Maybe
that.
my research is all wrong. You've convinced
Right,
me actually that it's not. You've convinced me now. I have to
No,
reevaluate all my conspiracies from now
It's like
on.
I mean, but I don't know how serious of a sect he converted to, or how serious. I don't know, because like there's certain things in Islam that depending on who you're talking to, like hardliners versus non-hardliners is pretty easy to spot.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I guess we don't
I'm gonna do a
know.
good disclaimer. I'm gonna do a disclaimer. I don't actually believe he's a clone, but I do believe he was probably MK Ultra, which is a different thing than actual cloning. That's mind control. No, it's on my next episode. You got to watch it. Candace Owens talked about it, so it's kind of believable.
Okay.
Daily Wire.
We'll have to bring it up more in depth. But so in 2 weeks we're not coming back. In 2 weeks, our wives are taking our places here for a special ladies edition Father's Day version of the show. So we get the day off, and our conspiracy Islam was in. Yep. Okay, that is your next show, Steve-O, right there.
Honestly, yes. My first ever episode of my conspiracy show was that Taylor Swift was a clone, and I didn't honestly believe it. Like it was just one conspiracy I was going down that led me to maybe she may be satanic. Other than that,
the loudest edition.
I mean, she definitely had a conversion of something.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Probably MK Ultra. I mean,
hey,
but I would
possible.
say
Sounds like a new malt liquor, doesn't it?
It does. MK Ultra.
Nice. So
Ultra should come out with one.
In 2 weeks, we've got the wives coming on, except for James's Catholic Song Guy's wife.
Yeah, Mrs. Catholic Song Guy is not a.
But
not a
I'm working on getting a special guest to replace you, who is also a woman. For this,
my wife did
no
ask
wig
some questions because y'all talked about. Sorry.
Go on.
Oh no! Well, my wife had because you wanted to meet up before, like so they can talk and before they actually do the live. Okay.
Yeah. We got to figure something out with that. So maybe.
So your plan of getting me a wig and having me shave is out.
No, we don't want.
Okay, good.
What we don't want is we don't want to end up attracting the wrong crowd to our show. I mean,
none of us should actually be here.
Okay.
I don't want this to be promoted by YouTube this month. We'll go with that.
Good pernt.
Oh, gotcha.
So no wig and shaved beard. I'm gonna get a special guest to come in to join the ladies, and we'll have a good time. So
do you know how long the episode's gonna be?
That's up to the ladies. I'm gonna say probably an hour, maybe less, but we'll figure that all
girls
out.
can go on for hours though, guys.
I know.
Wow. Okay, let's watch the. On board,
Not to be nostalgic there.
All right, so 2 weeks time, our wives will be back here, and they will be taking over the show so that for Father's Day we get the day off, we get the week off. It's during the octave of Father's Day, which is important for all you ladies out there. Your husbands need the whole week of Father's Day off. Don't try not to bring up whether or not they gave you the whole week of Mother's Day off. That's not important. So,
movie recommendation.
Movie.
What kind of movie recommendations?
Yes.
I just saw Signs, so I would say Signs. But
I would say Haunted Mansion 2023. Underrated.
I heard that was good.
Movie.
Really
good. Really good
movie.
movie.
I heard it was really good.
I thought I always recommend old movies. Marty with Ernest Borgnine. Fabulous movie.
If we're talking about James putting on a wig, we could also go in with Some Like It Hot, which is the #1 comedy movie of all time, according to
I watched
all
that
the-
recently. That movie was good. It's about the legacy of the Von Erich brothers, the wrestlers from Texas. Yeah, it's pretty good. I
Iron
enjoyed it.
Claw, not Some Like It Hot. Some Like It Hot.
Thank
has
you
nothing
very
to do
much
with
for
wrestling.
clearing that one up for me.
Yeah.
Oh no, not that.
My wife just put it out. Troll Hunter. That should
I've heard.
definitely be one. If you've never seen it,
Okay.
you gotta see it.
All right. Well, it's been fun.
It is a great documentary style video.
It has been a lot of fun. I appreciate you guys a lot for coming on here. My wife needs me to go make popcorn for the kids because she has a friend that's coming over. So I've got to go take care of those things. I'm off, and I will see y'all in. I guess we'll probably pop in at the beginning of the call because you know how difficult it is for wives to use.
I will
computers and
probably
touch
be.
things.
I don't know if I should be there now. I got to show her all of the logistics and pulling up stuff.
Yeah,
So
I know.
you're gonna have to do. Yeah. I
So
know.
it might be like you
You
start
guys-
at the beginning, and then.
Well, I
Walk
will
away.
certainly be lurking in the audience.
Oh, yeah.
Are we
Thank
able
God.
to keep going even though you drop?
I mean,
Oh, we can.
yeah,
Honestly,
I
we can keep going if you want.
Yeah, if you want.
Because I'm the
When
host.
Catholic
I'm the
Comedy
host.
leaves.
And
What?
then we have to carry the rest of the show, and I'm not that
You do.
much. I can't carry much.
All right, I've got to go make popcorn. So if you guys want to stick around for the after
right.
show, I think we're going to the behind the paywall, but we haven't designed a paywall yet, so it kind of makes it difficult. All right, I'm out.
All
Peace.
right, you take care.
So long, CZ.
Good night. Eat some
Someone
extra
said,
popcorn
Aaron
for me.
said keep going. We can
Yeah,
keep going.
see.
So are we still live?
Oh, okay. So the reason why it's like that is this camera I have, it zooms in automatically. The camera's like really far away, but it zooms in on me, and everybody makes fun of it too. They go,
Yeah,
They go,
because you look like Tim Pool
yeah.
when he first started, when he's like, "Oh, I gotta look like I'm just my face," and it's like really weird. But you can see,
and yeah, people. It's this camera. If I switch my camera to my actual laptop camera, the quality is terrible, but it'll be a lot farther away.
yeah.
So and also the lighting is really terrible. If you want to see my face, you actually have to have some light from the screen. I have lighting up here, but it's garbage. I don't know why.
I don't
Well,
know.
do you have a way of
Speaking
like,
as somebody who reflects more light than the moon, I can't really help you there.
It's been a criticized. Trust me. A lot of people have criticized me on all of my live streams. They're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm literally sitting where they're sitting. It's just the camera's zoomed in on me."
yeah, it's
I don't know
because
why.
so like I it's because I move it. I have like a little arm with my thing, so it's sometimes it's in the same spot, sometimes it's not.
So yeah, I've had people go like, "You're so ugly. You shouldn't be that close to the camera." And I was like, "Hey, I mean, you're probably not wrong, but you know, I can do what I want."
Well, you're married, so it's fine.
Exactly. That's why. That's exactly what I tell them.
See, let's just like that.
More and more junk on his desk. I mean, mine's.
See, look at that. Look at that. Look at all
If
that.
I showed you the desk, you would be like, "This is atrocious."
So, I do have a question, Catholic Song Guy.
Sure.
So, you seem to be in a hotel a lot when we have.
No, this isn't a hotel. This is my home.
Oh, it's your home.
Yes.
My bad. I'm sorry.
I was just in a
I'm
hotel
gonna get off screen.
last time because we were.
Insert the Homer Simpson meme.
I was on the road
Phase
for
into
a
the
trade show our last one, so I was in a hotel. This is our new home that we just moved into.
Oh yeah, you said you moved to Florida. So that's
I am right here behind this picture of this eagle. This is my home. No, if I could actually take it off, y'all can see the back of mine. It's behind the scenes. Behind the scenes. I actually don't even know how to do that.
So like do you typically? I just wanted to ask, do you typically go on the road often, or is that?
No, that was a rarity. Actually, I've gone out of my way in my professional life to not travel. I always wanted to be there for my son when he was growing up, and
Right.
business travel is. I did some of that, a bunch of that when I was much younger.
Right.
Now I'm not much younger, so I've been there, done that. Don't want to do it no more. And I'm 64 now, so it's not...
Okay, yeah. So here's, I mean, you just brought up a question that's like very related to what you talk about.
It is, yeah.
We can talk about it.
I mean, I'll try to be as well as I can on YouTube because anytime I've been on YouTube, I've been censored. So, my thoughts on the two, we're screwed either way. I told my wife it's a lose-lose situation, in my opinion. Not like just who's becoming president. It's just that if Biden wins, a lot of people aren't going to believe that he won the election, and there's going to be civil unrest. And if Trump wins, there's going to be people that just are going to be like, he's a criminal. He criminal his way into there, and it's going to be civil unrest. So I think we're screwed either way, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
I mean, I agree with you.
Yeah,
I think we have utterly lost faith in our republic and democratic processes, and my political science degree is just becoming more and more useless.
But the fact that we keep talking about democracy and democratic principles when we are a republic, a representative republic, often gets us into
absolutely.
Well, that's why I said like democratic republic.
Yeah, understood.
But it's really annoying. You're right though, because like the appeal to, it's weird how they do an appeal to mob. Well, it's not weird. It's basically gaslighting, but it's the how they always say our democracy, and it's like that's not what we are.
Right.
And it's
I agree with that comment.
Yeah,
I've got a lot of topics about that. If you want to check out my real topics, you can go to X. I'm very controversial on there though, but also very influential apparently because I got retweeted by Jake Shields. If anybody doesn't know who that is, he's a UFC fighter. Also, I got retweeted by Elijah Sheffer. He runs a show called Slightly Offensive. I clip their shows and I send it to them, and then they kind of promote me as in return. They don't pay me, but technically, since I'm getting monetized again now, X got back to me finally, and they were like, "Yeah, you can be monetized now." I was like, "Sweet, thank you."
How did you get monetized? Because like I got demonetized.
Yeah, exactly. They at first they weren't saying anything, but I heard if you hound Elon, really hound him, like comment him and keep commenting him, he'll see it and he'll go, "Okay," and then he'll fix it. So I did that, and then I got monetized. So,
cool.
Yeah, you kind of have to hound Elon, and it sucks. I mean, I felt bad. I just kept going, "Hey, what's going on, bro? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing this?"
Yeah, because like I would show both. I would show the email, and then I would show the link of the email would send me, basically saying that there was no what is it? There's no clarification as to what I broke, and then I would also like link the actual like response from the X support team.
If you send all that to me, if you send all that to me, if you send that all to me, I'll hound him as much for you because I did that for one of my.
That would be really nice. I'll put it in a new tweet. I'll put it together
I'll share it, and I'll even have some of my other friends that are on there that do the same thing because when they actually got suspended and they got their accounts back and remonetized from doing this. So we could try to help you out because it's really not fair. Well, the same thing happened to my wife. She doesn't have a blue check mark, but her account got locked and they put a label on her just for talking about Catholicism. So and then recently also X has literally banned the use of some of verses from the Bible being posted online on X, but they allow other stuff.
Right. Like it's weird because like some verses are like I quoted a verse or a reference and I remember getting in trouble and they're like, "Hey, like why'd you say this?" And I was like, because this is a verse from the Bible. And like
exactly, yes.
This person understands I'm not actually like trying to harm them. It's a reference to the Bible. Like
exactly.
I think it was cutting your arm off if it's causing you to sin. It was the reference.
Yeah.
And it was just like very obvious to anybody who's Catholic, but not to the AI.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And
I think good old AI.
Well, yeah. So do you guys? The cool thing about AI is ever since they've allowed the excessive imagery on X. Okay, obviously I don't want to say the 4-letter P word, but it's I haven't seen any of it, and the reason why is because there's a check mark that you can do in the settings where it is defaulted to on, but you have to default it to off, or you have to change it to off, and you won't see explicit images.
I don't get that many as well. I did see one recently, and I was really, really disappointed because I was just like, okay, I was just scrolling through my friends' comments to try to comment on it, and it's there. But that's good to know. I have to go in to change my settings then, because that's important, because I don't come on X to see that stuff. I'll tell you that.
Well, right, yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
Funniest Catholic actor Aaron Roger wants to know about.
Anybody? I know one, because I actually recently found this out. I didn't know he was Roman Catholic, but Steve Carell.
I knew that.
Yeah, I didn't know that. No, I recently looked it up, asked ChatGPT. I don't know, because I tend to go and ask like what people's religions are, because it's kind of important, to me. Kevin James, really? Oh yeah, Kevin James. Yeah, he's Catholic.
Yeah, he goes to TLM.
Yeah, really, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's. I think he's got photos with Father Rippiger. So, yeah. I'm trying to think. Rob Schneider is converted.
Really?
But a lot of his comedy is lewd.
I'm trying to really come up with anybody. I'm
also, what's his name? The guy that played he's not, I guess, the funniest. Let's see, because I was like, I don't consider John Krasinski funny, really, but he's also Catholic. I didn't know that either. Or I don't know if he's Catholic, but he was brought up in Roman Catholicism, so I don't know if he's still practicing.
Yeah, comic actors Catholic is not something people aren't ringing a bell with me.
Well,
Mark Wahlberg,
comedic. I wouldn't say he's comedic though, and I also
he's more an actor. Yeah.
Well, yeah, right. And like, just because he's kind of controversial, like I don't consider him to be a good actor role model.
Is it because of his like TED stuff?
Well, he'll go into, he'll say he goes to mass every day, but then he'll be in movies like Ted.
Gotcha. That's one thing.
And it's like, okay, well, Ted is pretty like, I mean, you're clearly promoting certain proclivities that are not okay.
Yeah, I heard a homily actually that talked about Wahlberg not long ago, and just talking about the dichotomy between this Catholic identity he presents and the sexual content of other things he performs in. Yeah.
Right. Right. And it's like, it's so obvious if you watch the movies he's in. And it just pops out at you. I didn't watch Ted. I just knew what Ted,
I'm going to be honest. I've seen Ted. I didn't watch Ted 2 because it just wasn't. I used to be into a lot of crude stuff. I'm not going to lie. Before I converted, so it was Mel Gibson. Yeah, I like Mel Gibson. He's not really a comedian. Well, he has some funny stuff, but
he is so Mel Gibson himself is like in a weird spot because I think
I know.
I think he's sede vacantist, but I don't know for sure. Like, I don't know that for sure. I'd have to look it up.
I've got 2 tickets to paradise. Pack your bags. We'll leave the next day after tomorrow.
Yeah, well, as I just do a quick search, I'm not seeing too many outwardly comic Catholic actors.
Right.
I mean, he's back. No, so first off, Kevin James. So
no, he's back. He's just gonna do everything.
He's like, I'm coming back with a vengeance. Let's go.
Mel Gibson was in Daddy's Home 2.
He was really funny in the Lethal Weapon movies and things like that.
Right.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, there's not a lot of like so Mark Wahlberg. I see somebody said Mark Wahlberg, Kevin James. Okay. Funniest Catholic actor, I would say probably Kevin James. Yeah, I agree with Massachusetts Zoomer. Who is Massachusetts Zoomer? Should I know Massachusetts Zoomer?
He's a regular on mine on my channel. He asks a lot of good questions. But yeah, he's I believe from Massachusetts. I think he goes.
Is that better, Massachusetts humor?
He goes to the TLM, so it's very interesting. Like I love being able to do this, like just this whole thing, because he's from Massachusetts, goes to the TLM. You're in Arizona.
No way, that's true.
You're in Arizona, going to the TLM.
Yes.
I don't know if you go to the TLM, but that's fine if you don't, because I don't go to the TLM on a regular basis. But you're in Florida, Catholic song guy, and then Steve-O.
Well, that's
You're
the
in-
question.
The good old Texas.
You're in Florida. So where do you go?
Me?
Yeah, you couldn't
Little
be.
old
Then
me?
who? Pat is still a cookie
I've always
from the
been a
cookie jar.
Novus Ordo guy. I enjoy the TLM. I'm always happy to go to one if there's one available. But I do enjoy the participatory nature of the Novus Ordo. I prefer it were done the way it had been intended to be done, which is we attended one just like that about a year ago, and it was just gorgeous, with the right amount of Latin and the right amount of participatory activity.
I would say that probably. Okay, so I would say that the thing about the wait, there's 2024 election talk. You guys talk election on here? Please tell me you didn't talk.
I mean, for a second, and then we walked.
Okay, I made a brief comment saying that we were screwed either way, and that was it.
Yeah, and I agree.
Don't worry.
I understand what you're saying, but the participatory nature of the Novus Ordo is I get that, and like it's a lot easier for people to participate when they can sing along with the songs without having to like figure out what they say or mispronounce it. But yeah, I went to Novus Ordo for a long time, and I went to TLM because I'm better than you. But that's
that's not just because you go to the TLM.
No. There's a lot of reasons why I'm better than you. Younger, stronger, bushier beard.
Oh my gosh!
No, I'm joking. Whereabouts?
All these things true.
Whereabouts in Florida are you, by the way? You don't have to go anything specific, but I for work sometimes I
give
go
your
Orlando.
IP address.
Well, we can talk about that offline.
Okay. Anyway, you're in Florida. You go. Okay, so yes, that's an interesting question.
No, I am not, and I wish we had far fewer of them, Massachusetts Zoomer. I'm the father of a seminarian, so I have a I'm very selective about where I think the laity should be on the altar, and extraordinary ministers of the Eucharist just are far too numerous on Novus Ordo altars.
Yeah, I think there's.
I did at one time bring communion to the homebound. That's a different story.
Yeah, that's different.
I think that there's a lot of like the idea of participation within the Novus Ordo goes like beyond what one might expect, and that they try to make as many people participate as possible in different ways that I wouldn't necessarily.
Yeah, and by participatory, I do not mean everybody having an on-stage role, so to speak.
That's the kind of thing that's the weird thing.
I mean that the congregation responds, the congregation responds together, that sort of thing. Now, that said, I think every place should be offering the TLM worldwide, because it's odd going to a Novus Ordo in a language you don't understand. So if there were one mass everywhere that everyone could be assured they know what's going on, that's why one of the reasons why the TLM is so, I think, vital.
Well, so before we get to that question, like the one thing that really bothers me is exactly what you're saying in what I had said earlier, where it's like down the road, it's like a completely different mass from the one because like you'll even in some cases screw up on the postures or the type of singing, or there's just never ever silence for you to reflect on what's actually happening. It's
Well,
always
that's because
kind of
people
like
don't
you're
rein
always
in their
moving.
music members. There's one place we go where this lady never leaves off the piano keys for ever. It just pastors need to rein in their music ministers.
Also,
Right, exactly.
The way I've seen it, the Novus Ordo is like a continuous high mass. They don't do low masses, right? And like that's a good like the TLM had the low mass and the high mass. So like the low mass is quieter, and like you don't hear a whole lot, and everyone is just basically silent. But the high mass,
that's daily mass in the Novus Ordo world,
kind of like in the high mass, you don't participate at all. Like you do the standing, sitting, kneeling, but like the responses, you're not supposed to say anything. You're not supposed to say the responses. On the daily mass, from the ones that I've been to, that aren't the Novus Ordo, when it comes to the prayers of the faithful part, like it's like a popcorn where people just stand up and say their prayers that they want to have heard.
I don't think that's kosher. I know there are places that do that. Yeah.
I know I don't know what's kosher and what's not kosher in the Catholic Church when it comes to the mass, because
right. Well, see, like that's the weirdest thing to me is when I can never say it. Was it FS? No, it was the motu proprio. Sorry, I'm getting all this stuff mixed up for some reason. When the motu proprio came out, I was just like, okay, I think I screwed that up. But when the motu proprio came out, I was just like, besides the fact that I knew it was from other people that talked online, that it was about the traditional Latin Mass, I would have made a bet being like, okay, well, the TLM shouldn't be the one that gets corrected. It should be the Novus Ordo because there's just a rampant amount of abuses. Like, and it's just like so obvious to anyone who's paying attention. And the extraordinary minister, I think Jimmy Akin's like, well, that's not really an abuse. And it's like, I get it. But the fact that it's literally used every single time, and it's like, it's only you have a ridiculous amount. Like, that's not technically abuse, but it's kind of an abuse, right? Like, because you're just adding extra people to do unnecessary things.
I was at a very small private mass for a theater company I worked with one time, and the priest who could have distributed communion to everybody in 3 minutes asked if somebody wanted to be a Eucharistic minister. Then that was just
right.
That's silly.
It is, and it was like I used to go to a parish in the Diocese of Lansing. There's 20 people at the mass. There were 4 extraordinary ministers.
Mm-hmm.
4 of the 20 were up there, and so we all had to wait for them to receive, because they go into this little space on the side of the altar, and it's just like by that time everybody, like half the people would have been done. It was just the most ridiculous thing. Like, what are you doing? Like, it's just, there are so many different things that happen, and there are inventions that are added that I honestly expected, if I didn't know about the TLM crackdown, like from an inside source from someone that was reporting it, I would have thought, oh yeah, it's probably going to be the NO, because there's too many things going on, and it's backwards, because the NO is the most rampant one. And no bishops, like, I don't want to say no bishops, because that's not true, but like it's a severe problem, and bishops don't want to rock the boat because they don't have enough priests as it is.
Yeah, and it gets worse before it gets better, and it'll be okay. And even if we're saying, I see the quote up there, the Novus Ordo is a valid mass. This is where I'm going to have like the SSPX people yell at me and the SEDEs yell at me, because they're going to be like, but someone's going to yell at you regardless of what you say.
But if the SEDEs yell at you when you're in your chair, are you really there? Just saying.
I mean, there's a flag behind Steve-O. I don't know. Like, it could just be standing. I don't know.
I am like as someone who goes to the FSSP, I also sympathize a lot with the Sedes. I sympathize with the Sedes. I don't think they're right, but it's kind of like how do I explain this? It would be very convenient for them to be right, but they're not, and so we still have to deal with the situation at hand. But I sympathize with them because it would be so much easier if we were able to just say, you know what, you're right. None of this stuff matters. None of it matters. We're good. We're just going to go off in our own little church over here, and everything's going to be fine. And I would love for that to really be the truth, but I don't believe it is the truth. But it'd just be nice to be like, we don't have to worry about the abuses. Right. It's
right.
Convenient.
Convenient and cookie cutter is what
Right.
it is. It's not a serious thought. And those that give the explanation that it is, the answer comes back to them. Like, they have to address, okay, how do you elect a pope right now? Given that all the cardinals that could have elected the pope and was the established way of electing a pope are all dead. So now you have to come up with something that you have to invent to justify how
Who else did that?
Yeah, I know. It's just Protestantism with more steps.
Well, but like I asked the question. There's so many people that responded. I asked the question on X. I was like, all right, is
you'd have to change your name as a consumer.
Is Sedevacantis schismatic or Protestant? And people voted, but yes. I asked those polls more for the explanations that people give than just a simple tick, because I know that those polls don't actually matter in terms of the numbers. At being a statistician myself, like, snowball samples are terrible for any type of survey, but like the explanation.
Snow cone samples, though, delicious.
Hey, Massachusetts Zoomer, go reach out and follow me on X, and we can message about
Twitter.
Sunshine State. I've only been here a little while, so my opinions might not be worth much.
Twitter. I love Florida. I love Georgia and Florida. And
I've never been to either one.
I was going to ask you, do you love DeSantis now?
I liked him before.
Okay.
His name literally means of the saints.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Interesting. I did not.
Thank you for sharing.
Anyway,
so no, that's not of course, one of the reasons we are here is because of the political atmosphere in the state.
Yeah, and that's something that my wife and I have talked about, because we're in Michigan, and Michigan is like super blue. And
not Michigan.
I've already told her, like, and we've talked about this, like, there are certain policies that one of my undergrads is in political science. I did run for office 12 years ago, for the state Congress, but the state legislature, but there are certain policies that are in place that could be implemented in a way that is very draconian, yet completely legal according to our state laws. And if those started to happen, we would, like, the next day leave. Because we've, like, Prop 3 in particular, it's the most recent Proposal 3, gives a lot of leeway that CPS could get involved, that religious group, like, targeting can get involved. And it's really, really bad. It's just a matter of, do they have enough, going with the 2024 thing, do they have enough collateral, or not capital, to really, social capital to just go ahead and do that? And people will be like, oh, well, they were crazies anyway. Like, that's the mentality, right? Like, the government's right, and whoever they're targeting is wrong, because even though they're saying it's just a bunch of gaslighting and terrible. It's terrible, but we live in an incredibly blue state. It wasn't always blue. It used to be very purple.
Yeah, I grew up in the bluest of blue areas. I mean, my father died in 1965, and I have a feeling he hasn't missed an election since, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Oh my god!
Yeah, so I mean, there's just a lot of places where you're just up against it, and you're just waiting for them to go that step too far before you.
Yeah, I'm in Arizona, which is becoming mini California. So I hear you. And were it not for the fact that my whole family is here in Arizona, I would be in Georgia. Something about Georgia. I love peaches. And so.
Oh, I love peaches too.
And Herb, great guy.
Massachusetts Jim Zoomer, I won't be offended if you do not follow me. I would understand completely.
Yeah, just take a moment here. If anyone watching has seen Steve-O's Twitter account, I do not endorse anything he posts.
Yes. So, I honestly do not mind. Okay, I really don't. I have a very radical opinion on things, and sometimes I don't even believe myself when I type half the things I say.
Yeah. So it should be noted that for all of us, like, we don't necessarily support 100% what everybody else is saying. Like, we're all Catholic, and that's the point.
And that's why normally I sit back and I let them speak, because I do respect their opinions and I do love what they have to say. And half the time I don't really have anything intelligent to say. So I love these guys.
Don't sell yourself short. I've never heard you have anything intelligent to say. It's not just half the time. Come on, man.
I respect your honest opinion.
No, so I think this is something we should talk about just a little bit, is that we don't all agree on all things, and that's okay. And I don't endorse everything that Steve-O says, and he probably doesn't endorse everything that I say, although most of the stuff that I say is pretty mellow and watered down.
I retweet you a lot, so my retweets are an endorsement, by the way.
Yeah,
I don't Universal Church.
That's another thing, is like, I don't see how retweets aren't an endorsement if you're not criticizing it directly.
No.
But like, I've just never, when people are like, retweets aren't endorsement, I'm like, no, like, I don't know how they're not if you're not criticizing it directly. Like, that doesn't, of course.
Exactly. If you like repost them and you're saying something to it that's disagreeing, if you're reposting it and
passing on something you want people to have, that sounds like an endorsement.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely. Like, people say likes and retweets aren't endorsement. Like, why would you like it if you're not endorsing it?
Exactly.
But I would say, so I consider you three guys on this call to be friends, in some respect. But like, I think it's important for us to have the conversation to talk about how we don't agree on everything, and that's okay. Right? Like, you should have friends you disagree with on a number of issues. Mm-hmm. If you don't, then you're not actually growing. But all you're doing is surrounding yourself with a bunch of yes men. And we don't want to surround ourselves with a bunch of yes men, right? It's like,
or bald men.
I mean, I'm if we were to put me in the middle screen here, I'm not surrounded by bald men, and none of you would be surrounded by a bald man. Anyway, no, I think that it's important for us to have those differences and to talk about those differences in a civil manner, to be able to have these conversations, like the very much loaded question that Massachusetts Zoomer wants us to answer.
Which one is that? Which
Steve was going to put it up on the screen.
Oh yeah, sorry, I apologize. That's
please answer. So my answer to that is yeah. I mean, do you have any idea? My voting power is doubled, and when my daughters turn 18, that's even more.
Oh no, he's clipping me! Don't do it. My wife's gonna.
He's clipping me. Yeah.
She knows. All
right. Look, there definitely are some interesting things that you look at. Like, we haven't had a president with a beard since women got the right to vote, which is interesting.
That is true.
But
bearded people have actually run in that amount of time.
Right, and the whole thing is like ever since women got the right to vote, every single political candidate has been beardless. And And so it's just an interesting thing.
That's when contraception was. Well, okay, so 1919 is when that happened, but so like, there wasn't a lot of time before contraception caused an influence, and especially with the pill. And so now you're talking about like the pill affecting women's ability to see a beard as being like attractive, as opposed to being, looking at a shaven.
Go on.
I'm just gonna say beta males. I'm just gonna say whatever.
Yeah.
Not saying anybody who doesn't have like a full beard. Obviously, I don't have a full beard. I actually prefer this length, but
I'm going for the ZZ top. I'm trying to get it down to the chest.
I go crazy about a long bearded man.
If only grow my beard as long as my wife allows me. We would be at least conservative leaning.
Yeah,
that would absolutely be the case.
I mean, if
I have a picture somewhere.
If my wife didn't vote, I'd be in Catholic Community's shoes. They're saying that my vote would be diminished because
I'm going to throw this out here. I have never voted.
Whoa,
that doesn't surprise me.
So that's because it is a so in one of my classes we actually did this where we did a lot. We did a cost benefit analysis of whether or not it was for the individual worth it for them to get up and actually vote. And in most cases, it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much my opinion on it too. Yeah.
I have never voted for anyone who's ever won an election. So
the only time when I voted when I was growing up in New Jersey and living in New Jersey, where I felt my vote actually counted, was when Ronald Reagan won, because he was my first presidential election, and then after that it was kind of my father kept winning those elections.
Yeah, I have not, every time I vote, the person I vote for doesn't win. Most of the time, I voted a lot of third party for a while there, so that's
I know people. Yeah, when I shaved and I didn't have anything on my face. Yeah, so
that was 2 weeks ago.
It was, but the crazy thing. So I'm actually, when a lot of my undergrad was arguing from a standpoint of independence, really pushing independent parties should be promoted. The problem is that there's so much institutional bias against them existing in the first place, let alone going out and being promoted, that it's just not a reality that's practical.
Look, man, this is the year, okay? This is the year of the third party, okay? It's gonna happen.
I don't think so.
It's gonna happen
because the problem is that I think everybody feels the stakes, even if they're fake, right? Even if they're fake, everyone feels the stakes of this, and most people aren't just gonna throw their put their vote into a third party because it's not gonna do anything. They recognize the stakes. Okay, well, do we 4 years of Biden under this perspective, yeah, that looks terrible.
4 years of the person you don't want to win if you were to vote third party and they lost. I'm saying I'm not saying specifically who the person you don't want to win, but that's what you're saying. That's the risk, right? Because you're saying if I vote third party and that takes away the person that I wouldn't mind winning, but there's a person I really didn't want to win. That's why the stakes are always so high every single election cycle, because the person who you don't want to win is World War III genocide for everyone, and the person that you don't care about.
But that's not true. Yeah. That's not a series. Those have only been the last 3 presidential elections. Prior to that, especially with Obama and Bush, it wasn't that apocalyptic. It was very much it's which one of the 2 evils do you want? That was the argument.
It was more socially apocalyptic. The cultural aspects of those elections were a lot more
Right. I mean, they had the joke
out front than
polarized.
genocide.
Like, yeah,
Go
like
ahead.
when you look at it now, it's like horrendously polarized, and so it is. But it's polarized for a reason because the base of each platform themselves are polarized.
Oh yeah.
Like they're just way on the margins. Like one literally promotes death, the other one sucks at doing things. Like there's a huge difference between the two. Like one's like more negligent than the other one, but the other one still like Trump still funded Planned Parenthood.
Mm-hmm.
Like that made no sense.
And he never locked up Hillary like he said he was going to do.
Yep.
Yeah, but no one ever believed he was going to lock up Hillary. Like only a crazy dictator locks up their political opponents.
Well, but she had actually done something wrong though, and she
right,
wasn't.
Yeah, but it's like if that's the thing is that if you do that,
now we're cooking.
Regardless of who your regardless of the crime that actually occurs, if you perceive that you're locking up a political opponent, it doesn't look good on your that's just going to be the rallying cry, right, of your opposition, because nobody believes that their person is flawed in any way, or if they are, that if they're flawed enough that's going to cause problems. But so nobody's sitting there thinking, oh, you know what, my person's perfect, but they're not thinking my person's so evil that they should be thrown in prison. And it just causes a lot of problems. That's why a lot of politicians.
Well, I understand that, but then there's the aspect of justice that needs to be appeared to, and so now you have a conflict between perception, which could lead to more harm, based off hypotheticals, and then justice, which you can solve.
Right.
And you're supposed to go with the justice.
Right, and when you do, you have to be as measured as possible, and in order to, because everyone's going to be going over with a fine-tooth comb, and so if you don't treat that with a measured response, where you're systematically trying to make sure that you give that person the benefit of every doubt, because of how dangerous it is to try to lock up a political opponent.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you on that. I'm just saying it was overwhelming that she broke the law.
Right. But yeah, it's like anytime, if he tried to do anything at that time to actually do, if he pushed for it, the FBI decided not to go for it. Right. And whatever the reasoning behind, if he pushed for it and pushed more for it after he got into power, then it would just look like he was being petty.
Well, but so yes and no, because the reason why the FBI didn't do it was probably because Obama said not to.
Right. And
so then it's a matter of the FBI's in control of who, or
right. And that's where it's like I said, it was Trump's not the kind of guy that would have actually tried to persecute his political rivals, because he understands the optics would look bad if you actually try to do it, because Trump's the kind of guy who cares more about optics than anything else.
So if he was playing the long game, so assuming that, because I haven't decided. Yeah,
underwater.
If he hasn't quite gotten there, but he's playing from a standpoint of, he seems to be playing from a standpoint that he didn't want to pull the trigger first in that instance, and now he is actually the first victim of this, whereas Hillary would have been prior, and on literally trumped up charges. It's crazy.
Trumped up charges. Yeah,
I know. I did that on purpose.
Yes.
You have to own your puns, dude. You have to own it.
Right.
So the idea of him getting taken advantage of in this way, given the Hillary thing, is very interesting, even though I don't think he actually calculated that far out. Because I don't think he's stupid. You can't be a businessman like he is and be stupid. That's right. Just it's crazy that people actually think that, but you can't be in his position for as many years as he did. You can agree or disagree with his actions, but you can't call him stupid. He knows what he's doing, at least in the short term. Now, does his pride get in the way? Absolutely. But I'm not gonna pretend though that he's this paragon of morality either, because he's not. He's a terrible example. The problem
Dennis
is
Quaid put it very well when Piers Morgan was interviewing him last week. If you heard
I
that,
saw that. Yeah,
I did not.
basically he ended up his interview. He's come out in support of Trump, and the last line of the interview was, and I will somewhat paraphrase, "He may be an a-hole, but he's my a-hole."
Well, and I think
I loved it. I loved it. It was great.
that's what a lot of people have, that kind of thought process when it comes to like even when it comes to the Pope, right? We have people who are very critical of the Pope until a Protestant comes in and is critical of the Pope.
Yep.
Right?
And then in reality,
then it's like, well, hold on. That's my dad, not your dad.
Right.
Okay, I can talk about him, not you. Like,
well, that's absolutely correct. Yeah,
I mean, I'll make fun of Steve-O till the cows come home. But if somebody else popped in here, I mean, I might disagree with them. Maybe.
Understandable. Maybe.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, that's kind of, it's the election's going to be the election. It's going to be a bad year for all of us because we have to deal with this, and the media and everything have found that the best way to glue eyeballs is to just keep people in this constant state of fear, which is demonic, I would say, to stay in a constant state of fear. Like, that's what the demons want. That's what I've posted a number of times, basically saying that.
Who are the demons?
Yeah.
My wife. That's my wife, by the way.
Yeah, no,
I was wondering.
Everybody's lives are coming out.
I got that part. No, but I said a number of times, what Satan wants for all of us is despair. That's his ultimate goal. And if you I've watched so many, and you're gonna think this is weird for me bringing up, but I've watched so many of these ghost shows, right? We're talking about ghosts and demonic, and people are like they talk about what happens, right? And the first thing that happens is that the ghost only appears to them, and everybody else thinks they're crazy, which tries to separate them, right? They try to separate the demonic activity tries to separate you from others, and then continues to attack you until you think there's no escape, and then there's suicidal ideation that is planted into the mind of the person, and that's the kind of thing that demons do. And so what we have on a grander scale is that's the way that Satan tries to influence society, is to make you feel like you have no hope, right? So if you're going to say, and I'm not saying it is, but if you're going to say that society at large is under demonic control, I'm not saying it is, but if you were going to say that, right, how would Satan want to create despair? Well, one, he would make you think the justice system is broken. No one's there to help you. So when you're amplifying stories that say innocent person goes to jail and super guilty person walks free, seeing those two things means I could be attacked for no reason and I've got no recourse.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely correct. Like, just this idea of justice being mishandled on a grand scale. And then so we are inherently social beings. And I know there's people who are like, well, I'm an introvert and blah blah. No, you're still social.
Introverts aren't really introverts gather together with other introverts to sit around and not talk to each other. But
they're still social beings, even if they are not
right.
They don't want to do it as much. I'm not gonna mess with the wording right now, but it's this idea of so what does the devil do? Well, the devil's gonna try and isolate you. It's going to make you an island, and it's going to, exactly what you were saying, go against your nature. Instead of being social, you are now an island. You're thinking by yourself. You're not talking with people. You're talking with just yourself, and that's where the suicide aspect comes into it. Yeah, she's an introvert, so we're flipped. I'm an extrovert. She's an introvert, but I talk way more than she does, which is just not normal. But I take advantage of it. I'm not gonna but it personally, I my family on one of my sides, very island heavy, in the sense that that's how they live. They don't want to integrate with other family members. They really want to just, everyone's off on their own, and they don't want to like really help each other out when or they don't seem to want to help each other out when people get in a tough spot. And it's like really weird, because that is what I consider to be like a huge emphasis on from the demonic, is to get families to a point where they don't even help each other when they're in trouble.
Right. And I'll answer Mass Zoomer your question in a minute here. The short answer is no. But so the demonic way is to separate you from your loved ones, so that you end up alone. Then you get attacked, right? And then once you're attacked, the demon will then attack other people, so that you think that you're the cause of that person getting hurt. So it's trying to further separate you. And on the societal scale, right? It's making sure that the innocent get persecuted and that the evil go free. It's the shouting Barabbas, right? That's the whole deal. It's like, Christ is innocent, Barabbas is guilty, set Barabbas free. And Satan tries to keep that mindset for us, that trying to push us towards despair, as he tried to push Christ towards despair. That whole time that Christ was taken up to be crucified, like everything was made to amplify despair for him, right? And that's kind of what's going on here. And social media really doesn't help, because social media amplifies despair. Because what you see is what it gets the most shares and likes is the things that cause the most despair. It's the things that make you angry and that make you lose hope. And that's where the problem comes in. And the problem is, like, and you see, like, I've seen a lot of exorcists that really kind of try to toe the line here. They're trying to help people understand the efficacy of like the old Latin prayers without disparaging the new English, or the vernacular prayers, because what they don't want to happen is more division. And
so Rossetti is great in that regard.
Right. So yeah, the idea though is that like Satan is always trying to separate us, right? So that's why Satan will like when talking to ultra traditionalists, right? Satan will try to convince them that the Novus Ordo, that people who go to Novus Ordo are evil for going there, right? And they need to go to confession for going to that mass, not participating in some sort of like actual sinful behavior, but because they go to the mass that is the most often done mass throughout the entirety of the world. If you go to that mass, you are now guilty by association of doing that to the people who do abuses. And that's the thing. Satan constantly is trying to separate us from each other. And so I'm gonna pick on Mass Zoomer here for a second, because he's trying to stir the pot. But when you go on,
I will just let me answer his question. Mass Zoomer, I'm a B16 guy.
Cool.
Okay, so B16 answers the question. Great. I just want to make sure that gets through, because I don't want to steamroll over it. The point you brought up about those that are infected with like the rad trad aspect. So, and I mean rad trad in like the worst way of rad trad. That Father Eric and I did a video on that, where we understand there's like a pipeline outside of the church. Like they're leaving the church because they get that mindset. They get the NO is wrong. Why is the church promoting the NO? It's wrong. Look at the Greek Orthodox. Look at the Sedevacantist. And it's like, look at all these other things. Like that's the pipeline outside of the church, based off exactly what you're talking about. And so like, I'm bringing that up because you brought that up, and I just thought I'd pitch the video that I did with Father Eric, where we're talking about
that video.
Because what?
Yeah. Yes, I was saying watch. We're telling people to watch that video. We'll have to put it on a thing or something like that.
Put a link up, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, we'll figure it out if we can get that. But no. So the thing is, what you can't put the cat back in the bag. Just like when they brought when you had the Eastern rites who came back to the church, right? They didn't like that. You can't say, hey, you have to do Latin Mass now, right? Because they've had a history. No matter how long of the history that there's a history of using the other Mass, right? The Divine Liturgy on the Eastern Rite. And so saying to them, no, you can't use that anymore. Like, there's nothing wrong with Divine Liturgy as done in the Eastern Rite. It's different. And there could be liturgical abuses, so you try to fix those. But the Novus Ordo, there's nothing inherently wrong with it as a whole, right? So what I would, if I were Pope, I'd have the Novus Ordo be the Novus Ordo, and I'd also have the Latin Mass be available for anyone to use it. And I would treat the Novus Ordo as an additional rite, just like you would for the Eastern Rite. So you'd have like the Eastern Rite, and we'd say the Old Rite, and then you'd have the New Rite, but they'd all be there.
So I just want to point this out because you said
and Zoomer, I see your comment there. Revenge is never the answer. If somebody mistreats you, the response to them is kindness and love.
Yeah, and you're not even going to be hitting the people that.
No, you're
going to be hitting the people that got conditioned into it. So it creates you're penalizing another victim, even though they may not recognize their victim.
I'm going to pop in, and I'm steamrolling over, I know, but I have to say this point. Father Dwight Longenecker. Don't know if you know him. Good guy, kind guy. He
convert, right?
He's a convert. He's an Anglican, and yes, my voice is nothing like how I look. Thank you. I hope. Anyway, I hope I look better than I sound. So Father Dwight Longenecker, he wrote this book called Immortal Combat, and in it he talks about what it means when Christ dies for our sins. But part of it is this idea of tribalism and the way that Christ works. So when you have tribalism, right, it's our tribe is good, that tribe is evil. We have problems, it's because of the other tribe. We should kill them, and then our tribe will be good again, right? You kill the other tribe. Then it's like, you know what? Our tribe still has problems. There's a different tribe. We should kill them. Go over, kill that tribe. And that's kind of how tribalism works. Like, you're always fighting somebody. And then when there's nobody else to fight, or you can't kill, you can't kill the other tribe for whatever reason, then turn inward and start to say, you know what? Maybe our problems are because of this person.
Right. Then you have internal factions.
Exactly. Right. The internal, and then they split off, but then you're still trying to kill each other. And what Christ did was Christ came in and he said, blame me. Give me all of the sin. Let me take it away and let me die for you. Take me and kill me instead of everybody else. I'll give you a way to be able to get rid of your sins without having to attack somebody else. And I'm probably butchering it a bit, but that idea of just like, when there's a problem, we can turn to God and we could say, take this from me. And he'll take the sin from you, and he'll take the pain and suffering that you're feeling, and he'll use it for the betterment of society and betterment of mankind. So I just wanted to say that. So like when you're talking about all that type of stuff, we're talking about whether or not you need to get rid of this or get rid of that. Like, no, we take on the hurt, we take on the badness that is happening to us. We take that on, we give it to Christ, and then we let him use that pain that we're feeling for the betterment, and we allow him to unite us instead of divide us. I think I got off there for a bit, but that's all.
It's okay. I'll answer
take your advice more often.
So when it comes to the NO, so like, don't do that. Don't have my hair cut. It was really bad. But I hope my wife contacted our personal hair cutter because she's awesome. But so what I would do with the NO is, if I were Pope, right? Like, it would be a matter of, I would reform the NO so it doesn't have all the options that are currently available, like I mentioned before. But then there would be this thing where it's like, I would be promoting the TLM, and then I would do the opposite of what they did, which is they basically just top down put the NO in place and disrupted a whole bunch of people in how they understood the Mass. And what I would do is I would slowly phase out the NO, because the NO used the TLM as its foundation in terms of like what it was doing. And so and on top of that, unlike the Eastern rites that had their liturgies for anywhere from when they were in the church from hundreds to thousands of years, the NO has been there for 60. Like, it's really a generation. It's like one generation that's holding on to it. And even though everybody's using it, it's just because now it's like morphing in this weird way, because you have you have like our parish where it's like Reverend Novus Ordos. We are trying to basically be like a TLM, but then you have others where it's like the Charismatic Renewal, which is trying to look Pentecostal, which is a deeply problematic thing, even though it's supported by the popes. Like, that's a huge problem, because now, like, okay, are we just going to have a Novus Ordo for every single random Protestant group that has their own thing going on? Like, that's eventually what might happen, and that's a huge issue.
Yeah, it could. But a counterpoint is that it's not necessarily the worst thing if we are able to get people into the Catholic Church and they want to retain some of the traditions that they had, any of them that aren't like horrible. You know what I mean? Like I say, like,
you can't do that. Like, if you're gonna have something that's supposed to be universal, like when you read about saints talking about the Mass, and they could literally go to any place in the world and they'll have the exact same Mass.
Look, I miss that so bad.
They have a fellowship with a person. Like, I'd love to not have to worry about going to an NO Mass and wonder if they're gonna like give me crap for kneeling and receiving on the tongue. Like, I'd love for that to happen. But right now I can't. But like TLMs, like, you go to TLMs, it doesn't matter what TLM you go to, and that's the that's a huge advantage for them. It doesn't matter what TLM you guys go to. You're gonna get the same thing every single time.
And that's good. I'm just saying that you're going to have there's going to be pushback. You'd slowly phase it. You'd give the people the choice to use the TLM if they wanted to. And when they did have that choice, it was growing, and there were a lot more TLMs out there than there were. That's why they had to clamp it down, because I figured if they gave them the choice, then the TLM would play. Everyone would choose Novus Ordo.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I think more people would be like, they would look at it like you, because I used to go to a TLM, but it's like I understand the draw, because the draw is obvious if you understand the difference between the two. Like, it's really weird. I think Tim Gordon said this. It's really weird to have a rite have two different masses that aren't high and low.
Right.
Because like Chaldeans, I've been to a high Chaldean Mass and a low Chaldean Mass. But like, it's not like
it's weird. And my preference is the Latin Mass. I'm just trying to, like, if I were Pope, if you were Pope and then one day turned around and said no more TLM, or no,
no more outright ban, like
right. That's right. Like, you have to find a way, because there are going to be people who are going to stick to it, and it's like, if you give them the choice, I feel like, I think having two liturgies is going to cause natural division, and I don't disagree with you. But I think if you put the light out there, right? If you give people the option, I believe they will migrate. Which is good for masses too. They will migrate to the Latin Mass. Not everyone, but I think enough people will migrate to the Latin Mass if it's out there. Right. That migrate to the Latin Mass when it's out there, that it's not going to cause a problem. Now, if you were to go in there and like fix the problems because there are problems, right? If you go in there and fix the problems, a lot of people would be angry about the problems being fixed, and they might leave. And those are people who never wanted to be there to begin with, and you deal with that in its own way.
Oh my gosh, we had that at our parish, where when Father Eric came in, he like put in some rules because the germ required him to.
Mhm.
People left because of that, and it was just like, what? Like, this is literally like, we can't deviate from this. Like,
Right.
the fact that you got comfortable with this is like your own fault, because
Right.
now it's pushing you away.
Right. It's
Like,
it's the
your self is like, because when people claim, like, because a lot of people will say, oh, it's just the aesthetic of like Latin, and that's why people. It's like, no, there's like way more involved with that, and that's a reductionist argument. But when it comes to the people who are like, oh well, I want to be able to hug during the sign of peace, literally everybody in the mass, and it's like, no, you can't do that. Like, that's not feasible.
You have to fix the abuses, and doing so will cause people to leave. And the people who stay, I think, would naturally want to migrate towards the Latin Mass, and the Novus Ordo will die on its own. And there's no reason to ban it. And you might still have a couple parishes who insist on it, but I think that the best way is the light. Light is the best disinfectant, right? You bring it out into the sunlight. You let both masses exist, and then you see what happens, right? And I mean, the vernacular is not. I can't hug you there.
Well, see, I actually think I'm of the opinion, and I've had plenty of conversations with a bunch of different people. I'm of the opinion that the best way to go about this, if we wanted just to get rid of the NO, is the TLM, where there's vernacular at certain parts, but like the ordinaries, the chant, everything that basically, are you able to play Mozart, a mass that Mozart did? I'm sorry, music that Mozart made for the mass. Yes. But then everything else can be in English or the vernacular. And like, that would be like, I think that would be a down the middle approach. Like, it'd be very similar in a way. It's not going to be exactly the same, but as the Anglican Ordinate, where it's like, they have a lot more Latin in their mass than most Novus Ordos, but they also have vernacular. Like, it's really off-putting. There's a TLM by me where everything is in Latin.
Mm-hmm.
They don't ever read the gospel in English, and I think that's fundamentally a problem. Whereas like the TLM that I went to in Kalamazoo, they would read the gospel in English after reading it in Latin.
That's how it works on my church.
Right, and it was just it's so weird. I'm just like, what? Do I have to read the gospel before I come in? Like, that's weird. And I don't even think that was like historically like what happened anyway. I think it is you read it in Latin and then you read it in English, because not everybody knows Latin. Like, even like, I'm thinking like Britain in the 1500s. Nickelback. I hope not.
I think Aaron and Mass Zoomer should have their own show.
We should have them on. You know, maybe they have some opinions that we might agree with.
Well, so it's funny because like Mass Zoomer is on. I can see him on mine, and then Aaron's on someone else, and they're just going back and forth, but they can't see each other.
Yeah, no, it's
like we're the ones seeing what they're doing, and it's,
okay. Yeah, there are different streams, so we can see their comments from everyone, or can see the comments from everyone. But my presumption is that Aaron Rodgers is watching mine, or maybe the late night levity. I don't know. You can see Steve-O. Okay, let's do a quick check in here. Who's got how many on what?
Okay, so you've got, I think, the most from X. That's 82. I've got 27 from X. Modern Papist has 25.
Papist.
And for our YouTube, Papist, whatever you want to say. YouTube for Papist is 8. Catholic Comedy, you got 0 from YouTube, and Late Night has 2.
Oh, that means that Aaron is on. Aaron must be on Late Night Levity, because I've got 0 on mine for that. But I'm carrying the weight on.
I have no idea how to get
X.
these on my streams. Someone's gonna have to show me how to do that. That way we can get
maybe
another.
Did you get StreamYard?
Yeah,
It's on.
Did you
It's on the
do-
thing. It's
it
in
is.
the
I just
upper.
clicked something.
It
Oh,
should
okay.
be in the upper right corner.
This big blue thing that says "Stream this to your audience."
Yes,
Yes.
that thing.
Now I got it.
No, it is not. It is not. And what's for dinner, babe? Just kidding. I love you. Sorry.
So,
Skip
like,
voting and make me a
so
sandwich.
here's an interesting thing. When it comes to like discussions like this, like I've noticed people will gravitate towards politics, church politics, and movies.
Yes.
Those seem to be the four topics that everybody has some relatability. It's like the sports version of what I would consider to be serious discussion, except for the movies. That's like completely entertainment. But it's like I consider because like I don't know. I'm just giving my opinion here. I don't like just talking about sports. I consider that to be outside of basically 5 or 10 minutes, a waste of time because there's other things more important to talk about. Now, if that's like an icebreaker between you and a rando person you've never met before, that's one thing. But like when it comes to people,
ludicrous display last night.
What?
Did you see that ludicrous display last night? Someone's gonna know that reference, and that's okay.
Okay.
It happens. I believe you're being heavily, what's it called? Like shadow banned on Twitter. You've got to be getting in more numbers. Like I'm about to surpass you in followers. There's no way your stuff's not being seen. It's got to be not being seen.
Yeah. So if you spend a lot of time like following the stuff that he posts and everything that he does, you would understand why he doesn't get as many followers as you do.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. No,
it clicked. It clicked that it was an insult. It clicked. Thank you. That was the reaction.
No, because y'all know what I post on Twitter, right? And
Yeah.
I'm getting hella promoted. You see what he posts, and it ain't getting nowhere. And I try retweeting myself, and it's not even getting thing there.
I mean,
feel like it's
especially when it came to when it's come to the Rainbow Brigade. Like there have been in the last like 5 days, very heavy things that I've brought out because I'm not afraid to go. Like what people will say, they'll get to a point where they'll say, well, like people, they just want to be able to have sex, and that we should allow that because it's normal, whatever. And I'm not going to go beyond that, but it's like I'll go the next. I'm not going to go beyond that here, but I'll go the next step, and I'm like, oh, is it normal that X and Y come together? No, it's not. And let me just explain to you why that's not. And like I'll do that, and they'll be like, well, like they'll either completely ignore it or they'll give some like emotional answer, and it's just like, dude, like that's not even, you're not addressing the point. Like do those things go together or not? And it's like so
Zoomer, I'll have to ask you what we would do with the other hour and 55 minutes.
I thought that was a good one.
I am in no way that serious a person.
I think a lot of people
I could go on for hours. So
people are very interested to talk about things that don't matter, but not as much about things that do matter. And I'll tell you,
should there be a Happy Gilmore too?
Like, yeah, it's everyone bike sheds, okay? And if you don't
call me out like that, huh?
Everyone bike sheds, and let me explain what bike shedding is, and so you can so that everyone at home, oh boy, bad.
Of course not. Of course I'm against abortion.
It's bad. Yeah. So bike shedding is for the audience, bike shedding is when like a very important thing comes in. Let's say building a new nuclear power plant in a town, right? And the town council has to vote on whether or not to build this nuclear power plant. They know nothing about nuclear power plants, so they just kind of rubber stamp it and send it along because they know nothing about it. Like, yep, it's good. But part of the nuclear power plant is is that they need to build a bike shed for bikes for the employees at this power plant. And when you bring up the bike shed, everyone on the town council has an opinion because it's something that they feel safe having an opinion on, and they have to voice that opinion regardless of how pointless it is. The nuclear power plant itself is the much bigger issue, but nobody knows enough to talk about it. And so we talk about these smaller things like politics, which we have no control over. Your discussion of politics isn't going to change much of anything because everyone at this point has probably had their own thing. Oh, what is this? The Serenity Prayer. Oh, yeah.
I'm almost positive like Protestant made this prayer, but it is by far like it goes to exactly what you're talking about, and it's something that we need to like seriously contemplate because it deals with. I'm not saying it's a deliverance prayer by any means, but it is something where it deals with the vice of sloth.
I knew you were going to finally say that. I knew you were going to do it.
What, me or him?
No, not you. Him.
Oh, okay. No. Let's not. Let's not because
there's a reason why I've been quiet. We're on YouTube. Yes.
Yeah.
If I say anything,
so
this will get nuked.
Not have that discussion.
Tomorrow I will do a live stream though if you want to join.
But the vice of sloth comes in two forms. So like Protestants have kind of reduced it down. And most Catholics have accepted this view where it's like, all right, you're lazy. You're not getting up. You're not doing something. The other one is you're busy with all these other things that don't matter in your proximity. And then you're just, you're not taking care of your house, your family, your work. Like that's sloth.
You're focused on your like your podcast, so you'd ignore your family.
Right, like that would be a real problem.
Yeah, like my wife's waiting for me to go have dinner with her.
And so,
spicy chicken.
But it's like, I know you guys are joking, but it's like it's a real problem.
Oh yeah, it is.
Politics comes in the form of that,
right?
Where it's like let's talk about the big things that like we get to have like 1/1,000,000th of a say on when it comes to voting.
You can do nothing to fix it, but you spend all your time obsessing over it. And it's like there's a reason why I do this like every other week instead of every week. And it's just for that same sloth. But I want to say like every single vice that we talk about has two forms, and a lot of us focus on the one form. Like gluttony, you think of as overeating, but gluttony can also is a disordered attachment towards food. So somebody who is anorexic has an issue with gluttony, even though they're not eating. But they have a disordered attachment to food, right? Lust, right? Lust is about a disordered attachment to sexuality. So somebody who is scared of sexual contact it has just as big of a problem. It's going to be manifest itself differently. But that's you see like there's the right way, the virtuous way, is not the avoidance of the temptation, but knowing how to manage the temptation. And so, like we're talking about sloth. Sloth is not just like you were saying. Sloth isn't just being lazy. Sloth is avoiding your responsibilities, whether it be by not doing anything or by doing so much that allowed you to ignore your responsibilities. Like if you're sick, right? The proper response to being sick is to get better, to heal, right, so that you can get better. The improper reaction is to continue to push yourself so hard that you get so sick that you're down and out for like a month, right? Because that's what some people will do. It's like, you know what? I'm sick, but I've got to get this done. Like, no, that thing can wait until after you're better. Then you can get it done. Or you ask for help or something so that the thing still gets done if it needs to without it damaging you or fully damaging yourself. It's you have a disordered attachment to the work that you have to do, either in that you obsess about it or you avoid it at all costs, right? And
that goes right back to what Papist was saying before, about the idea of we focus on these large issues, and you talked about that too, Steve, that we focus on these things we have this much control over.
Right.
So, but while we're obsessing about that, there are probably things in our immediate orbit that we could be making a big difference with.
One that
Right,
came up.
exactly.
One that came up very recently, comes up all the time, is how old is the Earth? Now, it doesn't matter how old you think the Earth is or not. It doesn't matter if, like, you could be right, you could be wrong, and you could argue for days on end. What matters is what you're doing now to serve God. And what people will do is they will obsess, like even the trad wars and everything, like focusing so much on things that you cannot change or that aren't going to actually serve God, even if you think you're doing it in service of God, could actually be a detriment, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
what we like, that's my focus is on humor and joy, right? And if I start focusing on that so much that I think it's more important to get someone to laugh than to follow the virtues of the church, that's a problem.
Right.
So
Well,
I've got to
so,
make
like-
sure we went over that in like a couple weeks ago, which is buffoonery versus eutrapelia, right? But there's this whole big thing about it. So
can we go back to the previous question?
go.
Oh yeah,
The crusade against women in the workforce.
So there has been a fourth crusade, right? Like there was a fourth crusade. So I think this would be the fifth crusade. But my video against it wasn't against women in the workplace, but it was like, and I meant I did specifically make sure I wasn't saying against women in the workplace. But like kind of what Stephen was saying with the TLM versus NO, if you were to give people that option, I'm sure more people would actually go to the TLM than the NO if they, went to them. And so the idea of presenting the statistics of the effects of women in the workplace and the very like real realities we live with, like the two income trap, which is really funny that it was written, like there's a book written by a liberal on that. But it's like, it's a very real problem, and the stagnation of salaries because of the increase in supply, like that's not made up, like that's a real problem. And so it's not a matter of like, I'm against women in the workplace completely, because there are certain, like in one of the statistics I show the women between 25 and 54. The reason why it was 25 and 54, because all the other ones older, like, they're working, but they're working like part-time jobs. They don't have kids at home. Like there's no reason for them to be in the home if they can get everything done in an hour, because her and her husband aren't doing anything. Right. Because they don't have kids in the house. So like it totally makes sense that would be a thing. But it was the 25-year-olds to 30 to the 54-year-olds that made the difference, because now you're comparing, okay, well, a 25-year-old woman is going for an engineering job, a 25-year-old man is going for an engineering job. The woman's going to get paid less, and I'm going to get virtue points for hiring her. And it's like, even though that's a recent development, specifically, mm-hmm. The problem, the pay gap initially was real. It was real. And so it's not a matter of now, because now it can all be accounted for when you bring in all the other factors involved. But initially it was a problem. But it's important that we actually know what we're talking about, so we don't look stupid when we say like, hey, women shouldn't be in the workplace at the level they are. They should be raising their kids, because your family comes before your job.
Yeah.
Period.
Absolutely.
Like that's the answer. Like that's
like the same thing goes for men as well. If your job takes you away from your family so much that you're not in the home, you need another solution. And I think we talk a lot about like there's a lot of conversations about whether or not women should be in the workforce because they should be at home taking care of the kids and blah, blah, blah. But like, as a man, if my work keeps me, like if I leave before my kids get up in the morning and I'm back home after they go to sleep at night, I'm a bad father.
Yep.
I may be a good provider,
Absolutely.
but I'm not being a good father. And unless I take the time to make sure that I'm, like I have to either have the kids wake up early or they go to bed late or something to make sure that I'm there for the kids. But if I'm spending all of my time away from them, it doesn't matter what else I'm doing at the time. Like I know people who
And we get an amen for Aaron Rodgers.
Amen. So I know people who are like, and this is where I see a lot of it happening, a lot in the trad communities, where you'll have a husband, right, and he works his normal 9-to-5 job, right, and then he goes and he volunteers at the church every single night, and he's doing the porter work on Sundays, and like on Saturdays he's helping with the Knights of Columbus, and it's like, when do you see your family? Like, you have a family, but you're spending so much time, and yeah, you're helping the church, but you're hurting your family, and you're going to pit your family against the church, which is bad.
Yeah, in the long run, you're hurting the church, is what you're doing.
Right. But like, you think in the moment, it's like, oh, Father needs my help doing X, so I should go do it. It's like, yeah, once your family's taken care of, because it's the same thing that if your biological father or your biological mother said, hey, I need you to come over here and help. It's like, I have to take care of my family first. And like, it's important. And so this is because we have men listening. Thank you. We have men listening here now. And if you spend all of your time doing something for the church where you don't spend enough time at home to really know your kids, you're not helping yourself. You're not helping the church, and you're not, like, in the end, you're not helping the church, no matter how much it is being requested of you. Your obligation.
You're not living up to your primary vocation.
Right. Your primary vocation is not to be a deacon, unless that is something you have done. But like, your primary vocation is not to be in service to the church. Your primary vocation is to be in service to your family. So,
I don't know what you mean by I forgot my family's name, but like,
he's saying that he spends so much time listening to you that he doesn't spend any time with his family, and he forgot that he has a family.
You're his primary.
Okay, but like, there's okay. I'm sorry, that totally derailed me.
Okay, it's okay. So
not you, his comment, because there was something I was going to respond to that, because there was in a good way, like with what you're saying. But I can't remember it. So
well, on that note, we've been here for over 2 hours. Over 2 hours here, and I will say that we all, except for with the noted exception of possibly the Catholic song guy, probably have family to tend to, dinners to eat. I'm looking at you, Steve-O, and things to do for our family. So we will see you here in 2 weeks. And the printer doesn't work, I don't think.
No, it does work.
And Mass Sumer, DM me so I know who you are. I think I know which one you are, though, because I get like tons of new followers now because of all the reposts. But I appreciate y'all following me and for watching and being here. Been nice to talk with y'all.
Can I say what I was going to say?
No.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay,
go on.
Yes.
So, like, I do not like the fact that the Daily Wire seems to suggest this idea of the men push themselves to work. Like, they won't come out and, like, they don't seem to say, well, you need to balance, like, or at least I don't hear it as often as I would like. You have to balance life and work. It's usually like, well, men work longer and that's why they get paid more. They make more sacrifices for their work with their family. And it's like, time out. Like, you should, like, stop right there and say that's a bad thing.
It is.
Like, you should just stop it, because a conservative mindset would not say that that's a good thing. That is a terrible thing. The Protestant work ethic is what we're talking about.
Yes.
It's bad.
It is.
Really
and
bad.
That's an argument that, like, we really need to have a whole show on.
I would love to have that after the woman.
Yes. So in 4 weeks' time, we'll be back to talk about fatherhood and about the Protestant work ethic and stuff like that.
because that is just going to be rife with levity.
It will. You know what? We will.
You know,
We're going to talk about our favorite stories
But-
about being with our kids and stuff like that too. It's just going to be.
But it's interesting though, because like the way we've talked about all these things in a lot of ways, some of them are serious, some of them are not so. Especially with like the chat being like it is, which is the chat. I think it brings levity in a good way, but it's this. We're not getting like super hyped about it, right? Like we're being pretty calm. We're not like super passionate, gonna die if we're gonna.
Oh yeah, no one's taking.
And, I mean, like everyone's being like reasonable, and I think that's a form of levity, because most of the time when conversations like this happen, there's like a straight guy and then the dynamic guy, and then there's two people that are watching, or maybe like some combination of that, and so they'll have a duke out for that, and it's like that's not necessarily good, because then you're turning real discussion that should be like reflected on into just entertainment.
Gotcha. I'm going to answer Matt Zoomer, even though
No.
Catacomb doesn't want me to. Don't trust me. I'm not going to give the answer you think I'm going to. Okay. So I have two jobs. I slay demons all day on Twitter, and I work for Evil Corp. That's all you need to know.
Okay.
Other
And
than that,
I work with computers.
there you go.
Very specific.
Very specific. Okay.
Okay, are we going to really
fun.
say goodnight this time?
Yes,
Yeah,
we're
we're
going
gonna
to say goodnight this time. I love you all. Thank you. God bless. And we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.